Gen X grew up on late-night warnings.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Scared, straight.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
And were inspired by movies that defined a generation.
We were all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it, that's all.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get out to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I feel the need for speed.
We found our attitude in comedy.
I'm Gumby, damn it.
You see that sign?
No shirt, no shoes,
No dice!
Right. Learn it. Know it. Live it.
And our identity in pop culture.
I want my MTV!
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV!
Who you talking about, Willis?
Keep your feet in the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
This is Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhide.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Oh, here we are, episode 36 of the Gen X Men podcast. Bill Rowland here, Gary Dollarhide there. Fun one today. Fun one today for those of us of a certain age, and we are all, being Gen X folks, of a certain age, obviously. But 50 years ago this summer, the Gong Show debuted. So I think we got to dive into some Gong Show stuff. We've also going to get into some other wonderful, wild, wacky shows that Chuck Barris came up with. So yeah, let's just dive right. Why beat around the bush? Why find out what all of us did over the past week? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Into it. Yeah. June of 1976, I believe, is when the Gong Show, one of the greatest shows, one of the greatest cocaine-filled shows of the 70s, debuted. What are your memories of the Gong Show? And we've got a few clips that we'll get to some for people here in case they don't quite remember it. If you're younger Gen X, maybe you don't remember it, but I don't know how you could have missed it. It was there always, seemed like it anyway.
Depends on your parents. I remember bits and pieces of it, seeing it at my grandparents' house, but my parents weren't exactly thrilled to watch it for whatever reason. So it was like that special treat when you go visit the grandparents, because there were still aunts and uncles, the younger brothers and sisters of my parents, at home watching this. And, you know, at such a young age, something was zany, right? That's what I remember. Like, this is crazy, because it's people running, people talking, people laughing, you know, the gong, what they were doing on set. I mean, I remember this one that the performer, she was like tap dancing, right? Right.
Yeah,
She's got the weird costume on, and Jamie Farr,
Klinger from MASH, for those
Klinger from MASH, Paul Williams, and what's her name?
Jaye P Morgan.
Jaye P Morgan, that's right.
He
So Jamie Farr and Jaye P Morgan end up trying to make it look like they are going at it on the floor behind the set, because you see a head pop up, a leg pop up, close, and then Paul Williams is staring over like, you know, like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden he disappears, and they're trying to do the gong, and she's still tap dancing. The camera's going back and forth, and it was just, you know, as they say, zany antics going on. Because to me, the juxtaposition was the 70s were filled with variety shows, right? I mean, you had everybody doing a variety show. I mean, and it was just calm and made you laugh and funny, ha ha ha. The Gong Show, like, that was just off the charts, because looking back now at some of it, the innuendos that were just slung out there, and thinking, wow, you know, for back then, because they were more strict in censorship, right? But there a lot of stuff got through. And of course, you see that in Match Game and some of the others. If you go back now as adults and watch it, you go, oh my God, they were just being that raw in public on national television at the time.
Well, it will get to, because a lot of people don't remember, but Chuck Barris, who kind of came into this, started out as kind of not even, I guess, like a showrunner, basically, and came up or stole this idea, depending on who you believe, for this variety show. And the first host that they had, like, didn't get that it was supposed to be completely off the rails and was playing. I mean, in wrestling terms, he was playing it like a shoot, like it was real.
Yeah.
And that didn't work. And so the executives at NBC that were the bosses for Chuck were like, look, either you host it because you understand what you want, or we're just going to get rid of this thing because it's terrible.
Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. And that's what's funny. I mean, like I said, the whole thing from start to finish is about just craziness. And obviously, Chuck could pull it off. I mean, I don't know if he was snorting coke, drinking heavily, right?
No,
You just
he was coke
again,
out of his mind.
it's LA in the 70s, of course. And he just, some of the things he would say and all the antics were just nutty. But that's the 70s for you, right?
And the thing is, there were a few stars that actually appeared. In fact, I'll pull this up here. I'll let people look at this, and you'll probably be able to figure out. And I apologize because the video is going to be really, really grainy because it's the 70s. And it's not easy to upscale this stuff because there's not a lot out there of like the DVD home set of the Gong Show. It's not a thing.
And no one's spending the time and effort to remaster it in digital.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this up here. You tell me if you can figure out who this is. All right, here we go. Let me add this to the stage.
Whoa.
And come on now. Oh, is it not going to work? Well, this is disappointing. I don't understand why this isn't going. It worked in rehearsal.
We need to call the owner.
It's not working now.
Who's our tech guy?
I'm really annoyed by this because
where's our tech intern?
Yeah. Why is this not pulling up? Well, that's annoying because I have. Let me see if all of these don't work. It's going to be really, really a pain in the neck. Let's see.
Nope. I see the circle of.
Yeah,
nothing.
And then nothing.
And just imagine.
I don't know why. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do.
All right.
Uvamp.
Oh,
and
geez,
maybe,
okay.
I think if I I can talk to you at the same time.
No, it's fine.
Have to. What I think I'm gonna have to do is remove all of them, and then throw them back in, and we'll see if that works. Maybe that's how we have to do this. This is very disappointing. I apologize, everybody. It's embarrassing not only for you but for me. Trust me, your secondhand embarrassment is fine. All right, so I'm trying to pull up the video file. Oh, you know what? I know exactly why it didn't work. I think because it's not downloaded to necessarily the thing. It's it's on my disk drive, and I have my disk drive unhooked because oh boy, see, this is going to be a problem because here's what I've got plugged in. I've got my camera plugged into my USB. We need that. I've got my light plugged into the USB. We definitely need that. I also have my microphone is into my Rodecaster via USB. We need that. Guess how many other USB ports I have? Zero. It's all right here. So I gotta figure out somehow, some way.
We'll have to work on our budget for next year.
Yeah. You know what? Let me try.
We need more USB ports.
Yeah, I'll try one other thing. Because you never know.
Yep.
Let's see. All right, let's see if I can do it. Whoops.
Oh.
Hope you didn't hear that. Did you hear it go boom?
I heard that, and I thought I heard a word or two.
No, from me, maybe. All right, let's see if this will come in. All right, let's see if this works.
There it is.
I gotta pause this. Okay, so now I know I can get to the things, but
Sweet.
I think I need to do it. But anyway, so
look at that collar.
That's
what I'm talking about, right?
Yes. So
stuff goes out to the shoulders.
This is, you talked about the weird and wacky, and I wanted to show the other stuff first, but you talked about the weird and wackiness of the show, right? so many times, you mentioned the innuendo as well. So many times with this show, Chuck would try to sneak by different things, various acts. The censors would be like, look, Chuck, you can't do that. And it would be over the top stuff so that he could sneak other ones in and they wouldn't pay attention to it.
Yes.
This is one of those acts. And this one actually only played on the East Coast because it was so over the top. And people complained, immediately picking up the phone and calling that they dropped it from Central, Mountain, Pacific time. There's no way, even now, 50 years later, you would be able to do this on TV.
Oh,
I
no.
don't care what anybody says. You're not able to do this on TV today.
Unless it's on cable.
I think you'd get a lot of complaints. Okay? So
maybe.
Let's just take a look. The act itself is about a minute long.
Yep.
Let's take a look at Have You Got a Nickel? I think that's the name of the act. Let's see.
Their hobbies are boys and first aid.
Let me rewind it. You got to listen to the setup here completely. That's part of it. The joke is really good, and that's part of it leading into it because you're going to be like, why is that funny? And then you're going to be like, oh, it's not funny. It's really creepy. Here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one of the girls in this next act says her hobbies are boys and first aid. I guess that means that on weekends, she cruises Hollywood Boulevard in an ambulance.
As an EMT, how do you like that joke? Her hobbies are boys and first aid. So she cruises Hollywood Boulevard in an ambulance on the weekend. Yes? No? You giving Chuck an okay on that one?
Oh, yeah, definitely an okay. I mean, there are stories from people in my field how gentlemen would come in off duty, bar an ambulance, and I'm talking private ambulance service, not necessarily municipal, and cruise places because obviously there are women who are into uniforms and badges, and they would use that to their advantage, even though they were not on duty. So it does happen.
I don't think that's what's going on here. But anyway, back to Chuck and the Gong Show.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Here she is. Oh, I love this act. Oh, now this has some substance.
Of course he does.
It's about time we had substance on this show. Of fame. Here comes Have You Got a Nickel?
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. In the back. Go for it.
You got to go close. Yeah.
I mean, that's it. This is the act.
Do it.
I mean, maybe you get.
Wait, was Matthew McConaughey there? Did you hear that?
I'll rewind it. It's pretty good. Yeah. All right, listen. I think we got past it. Where he says, all right.
Yeah. Just.
I mean, for a minute, this is all they do. That's it.
Where'd everybody go? No one gonged it.
I love your lyrics.
Oh, there we go.
Fun little tune. Phyllis, what do you think of Have You Got a Nickel?
Oh, Phyllis Diller.
Phyllis Diller, for people who don't remember. Phyllis Diller, what was she famous for? I mean, I know she was in a lot of different shows and stuff, right? She was a comedian.
Right. She was a comedian. She was one of the first female comedians. And she was actually, as far as I know, pretty filthy. So the fact that she kind of missed this.
Right. Phyllis Diller completely whiffs on it. I mean, completely.
I don't understand it altogether.
Zero.
This is great.
Something offended Phyllis Diller.
Nobody has ever gotten a zero. Jamie Farr. Nobody has ever gotten a zero.
Let me go back further.
That's a disgrace.
Oh, yeah. Dirty old man.
Nobody has ever gotten a zero. Jamie Farr. I don't think they give a lick.
Two.
This is the best. Jaye P Morgan.
Do you know that that's the way I started?
I mean,
she in some of the other episodes and stuff, she's good. She's always
just
point on.
Killer line. And the funny thing is, this is 1978-ish or so.
Mm-hmm.
She's in her mid 40s at this point, which is really kind of weird. By the way, Jaye P Morgan still with us. She's 91. I have no idea how lucid she is. I haven't seen I had to look it up on Wiki. I didn't even know, like, I knew Jaye P Morgan from the Gong Show. I knew nothing else about her. I guess she was a
singer.
Yeah. No idea.
I'm the same boat. I did not know.
Geez.
But
the 50s and 60s.
She was in the music business, so which means she probably had a little bit of an edge to her, and that's why she could come up with some of these lines. Not only this, but some other episodes I went back and watched was like, geez. And of course, for those who don't know, she ended up kicked off the show because during one of them,
I've got that clip. If I can find a way to pull it up, I have that. I don't have the clip.
Okay.
I have the episode that it aired.
Yeah.
So for those thing when Gene the Dancing Machine.
Yes.
There was a regular on it. But anyway, this is a phenomenal line by Jaye P Morgan.
Do you know that that's the way I started?
10.
10, right? She knew. Talent. Filthy Rock Kids.
Oh, you have a 12. We'll be back.
Chuck, hold them in my dressing room.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
How unbelievable that. I mean, I don't know that anybody is there writing and handing them. I don't think so. I think she ripped that right out.
Oh,
I mean,
pure reaction.
Yeah, it's great. It's phenomenal.
And I think that goes back to what I've looked at as these people in the 70s. Again, go to the Match Game. Look at some of the other game shows where they're just ripping out zingers left and right, unscripted. They're on point because I think the performers were different back then, right? They just kind of existed in a different state of, yep, I'll let it rip. Sometimes it would fail, right? And then sometimes you get good stuff. I think a lot of times people nowadays, actors, Hollywood, they're too scripted, too in a box, and getting outside that box is what we're missing nowadays compared to the 70s. Because, like I said, I have no doubt Chuck probably got lit, maybe Jaye P Morgan, before the show, because this is how we do it. You know, we're professionals. You know, the old stories of Sinatra, you know, being a little bit in the tank before you just did it because that freed you up and boom. But nowadays, I don't think you can get away with this stuff like you said.
Right. And that's the thing is, you know, I think for Match Game, I don't think they necessarily knew ahead of time some of the questions. I think maybe they were tipped off, but they would help each other, right? I mean, you had a guy like Charles Nelson Riley. You had a guy like Richard Dawson, who was, again, you remember him from Family Feud, was quick, sharp.
Yes.
And they would usually help other people out if they got stuck on something. But I think like on Hollywood Squares, those are scripted.
Yeah.
I think those lines on Hollywood Squares from back in the day with John Davidson or whoever, I think those were scripted responses to try to get a laugh. That's why stuff like what Jaye P Morgan just did or what you get in the Match Game was so good, because they were just that quick.
They were, yeah. And if you remember, what I also liked about the Match Game, remember, it wasn't just the celebrities. The questions that were written were already taking you down the road, right? Because what's his name would read them, and you'd be like, everyone knows what the answers are,
right?
And then you just see how the talent played off of that and either went with it or, okay, we'll clean up, go over here a little bit. I mean, it was a different world, and that's why I find myself sometimes, even just for straight television, watching older shows because it was just raw, real, and it wasn't so scripted and so perfect and so delicate like we see nowadays. And so Gong Show, I mean, it was extreme for then, but I think that's part of the reason why it did so well for a few years was it was just in your face, so different. We're going to push the envelope, see where it goes. Laughing kind of falls in that as well. They were just kind of the edge of what we're allowing on broadcast television at that point.
Now, can you explain Mean Gene the dancing, or excuse me, Gene the dancing machine?
Yeah. So he was a stagehand.
Yes.
And when they were developing the show, they were trying to figure out how in the world do we kind of take the edge off when someone is just being bad, like the act is just bad. And what did they do? The theory is they ripped it off from Showtime at the Apollo, because when performers were bad, instead of beating them up, the crowd's booing and everything, it was the showstopper. I can't remember the guy's name. He would come out and throw confetti and then drag them off the stage to be a little bit more tasteful in getting rid of the bad act. And so that's what they kind of did with Gene the dancing machine. He was just a stagehand, and so when it got that bad, Barris had the cue. He knew to come out and do his dance and the confetti and everything else, just to give that transition, so it wasn't quite as he said, a baseball bat to the teeth if it was that going that bad.
And the thing is every once in a while they would just have Gene on.
Yeah,
he was a regular. Like,
he was a favorite.
Was a regular. Yeah, Gene was a regular. So this is when Jaye P Morgan, we talked about it, how she was a regular. She probably was on the Gong Show as a judge more than anybody else.
Yes.
From research. There's not a lot out there. I mean, usually by this time in the internet, you should be able to type in how many episodes was Jaye P Morgan a judge on the Gong Show, and usually you could find it like that. There isn't anything like that out there for this show, which I'm surprised at, because it is a cultural template for what the 70s was.
It's a CIA psyop.
It's yeah, if you believe the movie. But so this is the one, and you'll see it on here. Again, you're going to be like, why are they throwing all this stuff at poor Gene? It's what they did. Just every backstage, they would just throw at Gene as he was dancing. At the beginning of this clip, I don't even know why he has it, but you'll see Chuck's carrying a hockey stick. Like, why does he have a hockey stick with him? Here we go. It's the same song every time.
Yeah. Gene.
And here he comes, just the staging, and this is it. This is all the dance. He's not doing anything special, and all the props from the side of the stage. That's it.
Cultural phenomenon.
And everybody loved it. That's Jaye P Morgan going crazy, and you'll see Jaye P Morgan goes crazy in this clip. Everybody's going, what the hell is
a basketball?
Why is he drills him with it at some point? He just threw it at him.
Go, Gene.
Here we go.
Here we go. Feeling it tonight.
She actually flashed the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is how they had to cover it up. This was the last time Jaye P Morgan was on an episode of The Gong Show until the very finale. They let her come back for that one. But yeah, this happens more than once. And again, they're just throwing stuff at Gene.
This must have been the end of a long week of taping. Just
see that? Oh, Gene, watch this. Ow! Hey, God bless him. He kept going. mean, look at this.
Right?
How they cut on it because again, JP's got her.
Yeah, now her shirt's sort of back on.
That's just sitting there.
It was
just reached into a little. That might have. Let me see. Does it look like you doing a little something here? Right? Look at this.
Would it surprise us though? I mean, the stories of him just being the madman he was, crazy artist. I mean, he looks a little like, oof, I need a hit of something right there.
Well, that looks like, was that his belt, maybe?
Maybe. I'm trying to. It's small on my screen.
See, now, right there, hand to the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Watch. He takes something out of that. I don't know what that is, but watch. Right here, he grabs it.
Opens it.
Pops it open. And then right to the, I don't know if that's a mint. Actually, like, I'm just going to go ahead and take a little something.
That's how, again, this is how we roll LA in the 70s. We're dancing, we're throwing props, we're taking something from outside of a case that we don't know. But you notice he's kind of, when it started, he was all Mean Gene, woo! And then there at the end, he's like,
well,
I need a little pick me up.
I wonder if in all of that, if he realized, oh, JP, you may have screwed things up for us. Showing your breast to the entire studio audience.
He may have. Or he knew that the meeting was coming. The summons to the big office was coming after that.
He definitely knew that it was coming. So let me see. I'm trying to figure out how I got to the other ones because there is another one I want people to see here. So let me see, because as we mentioned, there were some famous folks that ended up on the show. And it's being finicky again. I'm trying to figure out why.
Steve Martin was on there and then later became a judge.
And a performer. Yeah, he did both.
What else? Weird Al auditioned but was rejected.
Yeah.
Which would be, if you think about it, it's the Gong Show. It's supposed to be weird. And someone said, not weird enough.
Right.
Sorry, Al. Not weird enough.
Maybe, dude, but no, not so much. Yeah. That's it. It was, again, just
and Pee-wee? Is that what you're trying to pull up?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up. You've ruined it now, but I'm just kidding.
Mr. Herman.
But the funny thing was, Wee Herman was on it like 14 times. I can't get it to download. So, but yeah, that's the crazy thing is that he was on it over and over and over again. The clip that I had for it, and I apologize that this is not working today, was him and his other guy that he was with, and they got perfect 10s. They got 3 10s. But you see the kind of beginning of Wee Herman's the dance, he does with the thing. They kind of do that in the act. You're like, oh, that's like the first part of where it came from. But yeah, he was on it with different acts like 14 different times, which is kind of funny. So yeah, you can look up Wee Herman Gong Show and you'll be able to see on more than one occasion Wee Herman on the Gong Show. So,
and then, I mean, again, how far do we go? What was her name? Carol Connors. We don't have the clip of her, but she was on there quite a bit as, I don't know, she was kind of the Vanna White. Sometimes she would announce and bring Chuck out. She stood by the scoreboard. That was just her role, right? Well, come to find out, she did adult films, and her husband was an adult film performer himself and actually was in Deep Throat. And so, again, it's the 70s, Wild Wild West. You did porn, great, come on in. You can go mainstream on the Gong Show. Not that she ever did much, but it's just kind of funny. Again, fast, loose, LA in the 70s. I don't think it's going to happen today. Well, no, some tried it. What's her face? Tried to go mainstream. Sasha Grey or something. There's been a few that tried.
There's been a few, yeah. There's been a few that have tried, but
that was
seems to work out. Jenna Jameson tried to go legit at some point. and that didn't work. So,
and I would say that is more of a management team saying, "Here's what you need to do." Supposedly, she was on there just because she was a friend of Chuck's, right? Just in the circles, like, "Hey, you want to be on the show? You're going to do it." I mean,
that's awesome. That's
Chuck
awesome.
knew everybody.
It's just basically, you want to do something? Sure. All right, here, you can do this, and then and there you go. That's what you get. Yeah, I can't. This is annoying. I can't find that other clip that I want. That's got Wee Herman in it. Yeah, it's being a pain. So anyway, and I wish I could figure out a way that I could plug in the other one. Although the only thing I can figure, let's see, if I unplug my light, let's see how bad it is. Yeah, it's not great.
Well, it's okay. Well, I mean, to run the clip.
All right.
Because you end up shrinking and going over to the side, so
that's true.
You can bring your beautiful face back after the clip.
All right, let me see then.
I knocked my own setup here.
Let me see. Let me see if I can pull. Oh, it's gonna beep constantly now. But anyway, Chuck Barris also, outside of the Gong Show, had a bunch of different shows that he created for NBC.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had he did a one with Rip Torn, and that was the $1.98 beauty pageant. That was what he did. And then he also did the Newlywed Game, of course.
That's my favorite.
Is it? Was that your favorite of all of them that they had? I apologize.
I mean, so it's a favorite because my parents watched it. They loved it, right? And I remember watching it with them, but I was still young enough, again, to not fully understand everything that was being said, but because the people on TV were laughing, my parents were laughing, I'm laughing. At what? I don't know. Until, again, as most of us do, we go back as adults and listen and go, oh, that's what they were talking about.
Okay.
But no, I mean, Bob Eubanks, fantastic, right? He's just that classic, same as so many others. He started his career as a DJ, and that's where he got the presence, and then makes it into television. And
who's your guy?
What?
Game show guy. Who's your guy?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would have to. I mean, I always liked Bob Eubanks. Chuck Woolery was good.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah.
I mean, you got Bob Barker, but Barker only did the one.
Yeah. But he's just Barker's an icon. And I think even though he was always fun on there, you could tell he was just going to be a dink if you knew him personally.
Who, Barker?
Whereas, yeah.
Oh, I think Barker's a little bit of a well, I mean, he was hitting on all the beauties.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him, but I just felt like just stories I hear and stuff, he was a little bit of a dink outside the show.
Okay.
So, whereas from everything I know, Mr. Eubanks, just because he was on so many in that time frame, was just a good guy. Like, I'm just doing shows.
Yeah. My guy, Wink Martindale.
Wink. Yeah.
I mean,
so many classic guys, though. Where are they today? Because here's where I got fed up, and you probably know this. They kept trying to take other stars to make them game show hosts. And I think, to me, that was a bit of a failure because, A, they weren't that good.
Right.
And B, you were too consumed because it's who that person is. Whereas Wink and all of them, they were just kind of your guide for the adventure for that half hour.
Exactly.
And they were good and didn't oversteal the show.
You know what it is? That's the difference. The stars,
think
that everybody's there to see them.
Yes.
The good game show hosts realize the contestants are the ones that are going to give them the magic.
Yes.
That's what I think it is. All right. I've got one of Pee Wee's appearances.
Let us welcome, please, Suave and Debonair. Do it.
Because we're such a groovy pair, we're really suave and debonair.
So the guy on the left, the guy on the right is Paul Reubens, is Pee Wee. The guy on the left also, and I never watched Pee Wee's Playhouse, but apparently that guy also ended up on Pee Wee's Playhouse. So they were doing this comedic thing way before. This is way pre Pee Wee.
We'll put our coats across a puddle so you can cross it. We'll cut our hair for you to look like they're above it.
There he is.
We can make you laugh just like a hyena. We cook our own caviar right down at the marina. We're the kind of guys you'd like to take home to your mother. When you try one of us, you'll have to try the other. Watch the show.
Oh, who was that guy with the Madam? What was that guy? Leland Flowers and Madam.
We'll take you if you're willing.
There it is.
There's another thing. They're going to go to break, but it'll come back. Obviously the commercial's on it, but Chuck always was wearing those hats that like covered up his eyes, like weird, just strange, not in fashion hats. I think it's so people couldn't tell how stoned he was.
Well, I was about to say, is that the telltale sign of how his day was going before the show?
It may be. Who knows?
Give me the hat.
This might have been the fourth show taping they'd done that afternoon, and he spent the prior 15 minutes back in his dressing room
with that case,
with a mirror. Yeah, exactly.
Whatever that special case was.
That case, a mirror, and a handkerchief. That's what he had going on. But anyway, so they're gonna take a break. This is what they always did. The lead act would come on, and they would perform, and then Chuck would throw the break, and then we'd come back and meet the judges, and then they would give their scores to the.
This man once had the reputation of being a fairly good magician until he accidentally sought his assistant into third. A lady who now lives in Cincinnati, New Jersey, and Baltimore. Ladies and gentlemen, Carl Ballantyne.
Carl Ballantyne?
No.
Neither have I.
I'm going to look him up just because while this plays.
He's probably
we
dead.
have to know.
The funny thing is you see here in all these clips that Chuck claps, like, when he's making a point, he'll just clap. The first couple of seasons, it was just him clapping. By the end of the Gong Show, if you watch the later shows, the audience is clapping with him. It's hysterical that it became something, because I watched one clip where he's doing the clap and they're doing the clap, and then all of a sudden he does one of these where he stops and doesn't clap, and they all do, and he just turns to the camera and goes, "I gotcha." It was really good. Did you find this one? Did you find
the Great Ballantyne?
Yeah.
The Amazing Ballantyne, or Ballantyne, the world's greatest magician. His vaudeville-style comedy routine involved transparent or incompetent stage magic tricks, which tended to flop and go hilariously awry to the wisecracking Ballantyne's mock chagrin. He's been credited with creating comedy magic and has influenced comedians and magicians alike. So that was his thing.
Hence, he cut his assistant into 3 pieces.
Yes.
And it went horribly. Okay, makes sense. Anyway, here we go.
What do you think of Suave and Debonair?
I don't want to say nothing, but the pianist was on his toes, too. I gave him a 10.
Good score. Sure, she's glamorous. Sure, she's a big star. Sure, she has a lot of sex appeal that makes men go wild. But can she cook? Juicy Jaye P Morgan.
Juicy Jaye P Morgan.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a real nickname.
What do you think, Suave and Debonair?
I think if Bobby Rydell could see them, he would kill.
Oh, he's right. Good score. Here's a dynamic.
I'm not even sure he knows where he's at.
We'll be hosting a telethon to raise money for those afflicted with a Miss Piggy complex. The delightful Waylon and Madam.
Waylon, Flowers, and Madam. Again,
What do you think of the old act?
Flashback.
I love anything Swabe and DeBoner.
All right, that's a 10. That's 30 points.
I mean, he was big, right? Mal?
Yes. Yeah. And I can't tell you exactly why, but they were always on game shows. I mean, I remember Hollywood Squares, etc. And you sit there and go, why was this popular? Why did people like this?
Willie and Lester were another
Willie and Lester, yep.
act that were on there. So, yeah.
We'll have to do the ventriloquist show. Look, there they go. Tippy toe out.
Perfect score. Perfect score for them. The funny thing was, they ended up like, that show must have been completely magic. I should have watched the whole thing because I went into the end and they were one of like 4 acts that got perfect 10s. There were like 3 or 4 of them that got 30s. They didn't win the tiebreaker, but there you go. Pee-wee.
Well, and don't forget, always funny, the winners got $516.23.
That's correct.
Because that is what the minimum was for the Screen Actors Guild at the time. So that's what they were.
Performance. Yep.
Yep. So that's what they were trying to get some notoriety and get their $516. But again, in that time frame, it's probably
pretty good.
That's a fair amount of money.
$500 is pretty good.
Yeah.
And they tried to revive it, and
the reboot hardly ever works.
They tried it a couple times, and
you just can't go. Sometimes it's just magic in a bottle, and that's it. You and I have talked about this. Like, let's reboot it. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
No.
And it never seems to work.
But the Gong Show, if you think about it, we still have bits and pieces of it today. Because to me, the first half of American Idol was about what? Yeah, we kind of looked at people who passed, but it was always the train wreck performances. Yep. That's what people, William Hung. I don't know if he's still out there, but that's what people remember is the train wrecks. And that's most of the time what the Gong Show was about. It was these train wreck acts that would just make you go, what the, not quite the girls. That I think that was just done on purpose. That was just an idea. They said, here's what we're going to do. But some of these others, like I said, I watched Tap Dancer. I was just like, oh my God, you're awful. Get off the stage. Right. But that's what they wanted.
Right. No, I mean, it's one of those things where you look at all of that and you go, this is gold. Like these things, this is what everyone is going to remember. This is what everyone is going to love. This is what everybody is going to clamor themselves for, is to watch, as you said, the train wreck.
Yeah, so. And not only American Idol, I got off base there. America's Got Talent, right? Yeah. Half the time it was because they knew these acts were going to be bad, and they were putting them out there just for the, oh my God, can you believe that factor?
Yep. Now, we talked about Chuck also developing a couple of the other ones. You said Newlywed Game was one of your favorites. The best part to Newlywed Game was always the people who, again, as we talked about, Bob Eubanks understanding, being one of the best game show hosts ever, understanding that it's the people, the contestants that are going to give you the funny lines, not him. Although in this clip, he delivered. No, this is not the one you're thinking of. This is a different one.
Oh, okay.
He absolutely delivers. This is phenomenal.
He is basically more urban or rural, Kathy.
I don't know what they mean.
I mean, right? I'm not going to say anything, but the title of this clip is Dumb Blonde Doesn't Know Between Rural and Urban. Just go with it from there.
You know it. I mean, you married him. What do you think?
Heck, he's urban.
He's urban.
Yeah.
How long has he been that way?
About 2 months.
2 months he's been.
I mean, as soon as she said, I don't know which it is, he went, oh, this is going to be amazing. You know, he's just like, oh, I've got it. Here
we go. See the look, he knows.
Do you think there's anything he can do about it?
He went to a doctor.
Oh, he did?
Doctor for being urban. I mean, look, this is a great. He's just looking out at the audience like, oh,
you guys hearing that?
Oh,
Did the doctor give him anything for his urban?
He gave me something.
I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just amazing. How do you not know? But that's the kind of stuff that went on all the time with that show, right? I mean, that was it.
And I remember bits and pieces. There was sometimes those couples, and I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but I felt like they would get some of these rural couples on, and that's the role they played for that episode. You know, just kind of the simple folksy people, and something might be said, and then obviously Bob can run with it just like that. She looked more like L.A., you know,
right
style.
I mean,
because I remember seeing some of these women like look like aprons with ruffles.
Oh,
and we're from Iowa.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, you are. And I don't think so, but that was one of the fun part is just what people would say. I mean, to this day, it's making whoopee. And what I was going back to is I remember my parents laughing and I would say it. I had no idea what they were talking about at the time until a little bit later. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
we're making whoopee.
They let them get away with saying that rather than making love, I think was the other one that they thought of.
That was a no-no.
Right. And they wouldn't let them say, this was the other one. I was like, really? But I guess if you think about the sensibilities of because this show started in the 60s, was the other one that they said that they wouldn't let them use was they wouldn't let them say the word panties. That was one that was a no-go. So kind of weird that they're like, yeah, everything but that. Okay. So,
I mean, if you go back, for those who don't know, the censorship rules were just crazy. I mean, you couldn't show a bathroom at one point on television because they felt that was wrong. Married couples would not be shown in the same bed if they did a bedroom scene. Correct. They had to be in separate beds. Like, that's how, you know, the morals and standards with the censors were back then. And obviously it's evolved, but by the 70s, you know, we're getting the double entendres that they're kind of, but just where we go from this very Puritan, clean, no, don't do that. And we keep pushing the edge. And, you know, kidding with you earlier, like, well, if it's on cable, guess what you can get away with nowadays?
Right. And that was the thing you talked about. That was the thing, if you go all the way back, I guess it would have been the 50s with I Love Lucy, where Lucy and Ricky, when they showed the bedroom, 2 separate beds.
Yes.
It was 2 separate, you know, doubles or, you know, twin beds or whatever it was. It was 2 separate beds. And that was even kind of taboo to even show the bedroom at that point. And they were like, okay, well, how can we get around this? Well, we'll just show it's just 2 different beds.
Yeah.
So that was kind of crazy with that one.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get this other clip, and for some reason it's not letting me download it anymore. I don't know why. It was great, and I can't figure out why it won't let me take it. I don't get it. Because I'm doing everything else that I did for all these other ones, and it just doesn't seem to want to end up where it needs to end up. But that was the thing, and you can find it online. You can go to YouTube, and it'll be there. One of the biggest urban legends about the Newlywed Game, and for years, Bob Eubanks even said, no, that never happened. That never happened. There was a question, and God, I wish I had the clip because it's really good, but for some reason, this is just not being nice with things. Hey guys, didn't want to jump in here in the middle of it, but after the show was done, I was able to get the video to download. So I wanted you guys to see this. So obviously the conversation that we have after seeing this clip is going to be entirely different than if we had seen the clip. But I wanted you to see the clip because honestly, that's the most important thing of all. So without further ado, the clip that we were talking about in the butt bob, just a little more extreme than that. And yes, it indeed exists and it happened. And so here we go.
Tell me where specifically is the weirdest place that you personally, girls, have ever gotten the urge to make whoopee? The weirdest place, Olga? Yes, Olga?
In the ass?
So there you go. There it is. As we promised, it actually happened. It actually exists. It's right there. And there you can find a longer clip on YouTube. The husband laughing hysterically, as you can see here. That lasted for quite a bit as well. So anyway, thanks for checking it out. Wanted to drop that clip for you. So back to our conversation again, without seeing the clip before we kind of explain it. But there you go. So thanks. We'll see you. It's just so wild to think that. I mean, again, like, really, that's what you've come up with? Was in the ass, Bob. I mean, I don't know. Like,
can we get that on a T-shirt? I
mean, maybe. Maybe.
But no, like I said, because anybody today, especially after the advent of reality TV shows, et cetera, they're doing it specifically for reactions, their own internet presence, if they're influencers. It wouldn't be just natural.
Right.
And I think that was the glory of these shows back then, was it just comes out. Right?
Yeah. I mean, this is the other reason why, like, everybody looks and you talk about how Gen X, I'm not gonna say we're messed up, but this is unlike you. I watched the Gong Show all the time. Like, that was one of my favorite things. I was like 6 or 7 when it would be on like a couple times a day because they had the regular daytime one and then one in syndication would sometimes air at night on NBC. Like, you would see it a lot. I can remember my sister and I sitting there watching the Gong Show, and much like you, I didn't understand I wouldn't have understood if Jaye P Morgan said that's how I started out. I don't remember seeing the Popsicle thing live. I don't have any recollection of that. But I certainly remember the Unknown Comic. I certainly remember Gene the Dancing Machine. I remember all that kind of stuff. And this is the thing. These were the people we looked at and went, these are the adults. These are the, seriously, like, these are the people in charge. Like, this is, I mean, to me, it was like, yeah, I could see a crazy uncle acting like that. Sure. I have my, I was like, I have friends of my dad's that I can see me up there dancing around there. I'm like, absolutely. Those were the people we were supposed to be paying attention to. Tuck Barris, excuse me, doing that Gong Show stuff. So yeah, that's what we were raised on. Those kind of crazy shows. There's nothing like that anymore. Nothing.
No. I mean, just even on a basic level, I'll give credit. Steve Harvey does a pretty good Family Feud, and it's done okay. But he's not Richard Dawson. And again, it's been out so long, you have to question people what they're doing now when they give specific answers, or they're trying to be funny. Whereas back in the day, it was maybe you are funny, maybe you're not, and something golden would come out of your mouth, and great, but not anymore. Like, that's kind of what we lost, is that innocence, if you will, that everything is, we have to do it now with AI. Is that real? Was that video real? And the people, again, from Survivor to the other shows, are they being real, or they're doing it because XYZ? They're an influencer. They're trying to bring attention to themselves outside the show. And it's just not fun anymore, Bill. That's what I keep saying.
I'm with you. It's just weird that those kind of crazy, and they're not even on. I know people be like, well, you're not going to do it on network TV anymore. You've got cable. I don't know that there's this wacky type of stuff that's going on, even on YouTube channels. Maybe. I don't think so, though. Not to this point. And that's the crazy thing. This is a network that was behind. This was NBC was behind this.
Right.
They're like, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Do whatever you want. It's fine. I mean, it only lasted
We'll give it a shot.
Still, you know.
Well, since you watched it, what time did it come on? I knew there was daytime.
It was in the afternoon. So, I mean, you would get home from school and it would be on like before, I don't know. I don't remember. They definitely didn't have a 4 o'clock news, like local news when I was growing up. I mean, now they got 4, 5, 6. I mean, it's like 3-hour blocks of news. I mean, maybe there was a 5 o'clock news and it came on at 4. I don't remember the exact time. I know you were home from school. Like, you didn't have to be sick. Like, to watch The Price is Right, you had to be home sick from school or had to be off from school or whatever. The Gong Show, I feel like, was on, like, in the afternoon. Like, when they ran out of soap operas to play or whatever, and then we'd watch it. And then it would be, sometimes you'd see it at night in syndication or whatever. But, yeah, I do remember sitting there and watching it after school.
Okay. No, I was trying to remember because I didn't know if, you know, for those who don't know, there was a time on network television called Safe Harbor where they were allowed to be a little bit more risque after 9, 10 o'clock. And I was like, well, did this air in those late time slots? Or no, you're saying it was the afternoon and early evening.
It was an afternoon. It was an afternoon show that started, and then they did some. It was just like there were a lot of game shows that were in the afternoons.
Oh yeah.
And then they would sometimes be in prime time at night. But that was the thing. I mean, when you grew up, if you missed school or in the summer, it was you started watching the game shows as soon as the Today Show ended or whatever. If you watched Good Morning America or whatever it was. And then that would take you would watch like a 2-hour block of game shows. That gets you to 11, and that's Price is Right. And then you knew as soon as the Price is Right was over, it was going to news. So that's when you went
and or soap operas.
Yeah, the news and soap operas. So you'd go make your lunch, and then if it was summertime, you didn't do that every day because you'd be out playing or whatever. But usually that was the trigger of, okay, you've eaten lunch, go outside and play for the day because there's nothing else good on.
I was just about to say, because Price is Right, when it came on, that's when I was having lunch. For some reason, I remember that. That was lunchtime and then gone for the afternoon.
Yep. As soon as that showcase showdown was done, you were out the door because you did not want to watch. For us around here, it was Channel 9. It was CBS. You weren't hanging around for the local CBS News. Sorry for any of you anchors that were anchoring the CBS News back in the late 70s and 80s. I wasn't sticking around to watch. Sorry. So, yeah. Now, the other one, before we get out of here, the other thing that it's always fun to do these 50 years ago, in theory, right?
Yes.
We've already talked like 50 years ago. That's when the Gong Show started. The movie itself that I'm going to bring up for you here is now 33 years old.
Double three.
It's done in 1993. It was, by all accounts, kind of a sleeper hit, and now everybody loves this thing. And it brought us Mr. McConaughey.
Hey, hop in, man. Hey, man, who's Carr? You know Wooderson? Oh.
How's it going, man?
Hey.
Hey, man.
Pretty good. How's it going with you?
Say, man, you got a joint?
No, not on me, man.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
I'm going to use that one. Be a lot cooler if you did.
All right.
All right.
That's the famous line. All right. So, yeah, that was shot, as they say, the beginning, scene when they're at the school and they're finishing up the day, May 28th, 1976.
Woo!
And that came out. That is Richard Linklater, of course, and the fantastic movie of Dazed and Confused, which, again, 1976, we weren't in that period of going out to the moon tower with the keg party and everything else. Now, had maybe older relatives that might have been doing that, but that's 1976 would have been boomers graduating from high school because the oldest Gen Xers in 76 would have been 11.
Yeah.
They weren't.
Because they had to be later boomers because,
of course.
My parents were, what, 40?
I mean, that would have been people born in 1958.
30. Yeah.
So, I mean, my mom was married with 2 kids in 1976, so she definitely wasn't. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's our movie because it came out in 1993, but none of Gen X can really relate to that necessarily year of 1976. Now you might be able to say later on that, yeah, there was still that kind of thing where the only way you knew about the party, because one guy was the whole thing of that movie is one guy was going to have a party and then it got canceled for, it got found out. So they had to cancel it. So they all went out to the Moon Tower, which is the water tower at the edge of town or whatever. But the only way, and that's the scene that they were cutting to there, was they had to figure out how to get everybody to the moon. Like, how do you know? How did you find out where the party was? So that whole scene of them going to the Emporium was to show how things got spread around. And that's the famous one where Matthew McConaughey's character sits there and says, you know what I like about high school chicks? I keep getting older. They say the same age. Again, very problematic in 2026. It'll be a big issue. A little bit of a creep factor in there, but that's that whole scene where he pulls up in the car and then he's talking to the redheaded girl. I forget her name. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. And he's talking about, hey, did you hear the party got canceled? Well, we're getting a couple of kegs. We're headed out to the Moon Tower. Hope to see you there. And he's basically just flirting with her like crazy, like over the top. And the guy that's sitting in the car with her is like disgusted by, he's like this big feminist or whatever. Because again, it's 1976. It's the middle of the Equal Rights Amendment, the ERA, women power, women's lib. So he's trying to get laid by being like, oh, this guy is a disgusting pig. Meanwhile, she's eating it up. And then right at the end, he goes, maybe you should ride out here with us. And she goes, no, I've got my own car. I'm good. And he goes, well, if you left the 2 geeks in the car there and came with us, it'd be a lot more fun. And I mean, that's like so over the top. You're just like,
that's style, Bill.
Yes, of course. I was like, that's genius, I guess. But that's what we could relate to as far as like, you didn't have somebody just sending out a group text.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, hey, Johnny's parents ended up not going out of town, so we can't have the party here. We're all going to X, whatever it was. You had to know. So if you rolled by the house that was supposedly having the party and you realized this ain't happening, you better know where everybody else was meeting to figure out what was going on, or you're out of luck.
Yeah, you had to go find each other. I mean, sometimes there might be a phone call to a house, but otherwise, well, if they're not here, maybe they're down at the boat landing or down at so-and-so's farm cul-de-sac. I mean, and you would start driving to these places going, where'd everybody go? What happened? If you didn't already know.
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
Now with group pages and everything else that happens, geez, these kids don't understand.
Half of them just stay at home anyway. They just don't do it. But yeah, I mean, that was the thing is, you would start driving around and you would drive like the various neighborhoods and just hope. Now, it was probably a little bit harder for you because I imagine things were more spread out. We had, basically 4 or 5 different spots that you could drive to where you'd probably run into people. And the worst case scenario, if you didn't see anybody, you drove to Old Town Alexandria and went down to the waterfront because that's just kind of where everybody ended up if you couldn't find the party or where everybody else was going. So you just kind of end up there high school wise. And out in college, obviously you would head down to Georgetown or whatever, and it didn't matter. But
we had pagers, Bill.
Well, yes, we did have pagers.
We did have pagers.
But even then, that meant somebody had to be near a phone. And then they had to wait for you to call them back. They weren't doing that in the car. And they certainly weren't going to sit at a payphone and page you and then be like, hold on, they'll call back.
I know.
We had to then pull off to the side and call whatever number it was.
Find a phone.
Wherever. Yeah. I mean, having a pager was fine, except you still had to get to a phone somewhere and hope that person was still at the number they paged you from.
Right.
So,
no, when we were spread out because, again, rural county, we're dealing with a county, not just a section of a larger county like you were in. So, yeah, you drive to certain locations or you drive to someone's house.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
That was kind of a starting point, too. Well, let's go see if, David knows what's happening. And you'd start hitting houses or for us, the central place was 7-Eleven because that was the big, giant one-stop shopping that we had. So you just picked out the places where you usually congregated and found it from there.
Yeah. Ours, there is a McDonald's that we talked about last week that sometimes people cruise through there. But, it was just basically you just drove. Like I said, there were 4 or 5 neighborhoods. You had Wilton Woods, you had Claremont, Brookfield, which is right across from the high school. You had a place they called the Valley. You drive down the valley, it's just down at the bottom of a hill. It wasn't really a valley, but that was kind of what you did. And you figure out, okay, well, I guess there's nothing going on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was it. And then so you and your buddies would just drive around all night until you had to be home, and you just wouldn't do anything. That happened on a weekend, occasionally where you just like, well, we didn't find anything. Let's just drive around because nothing else to do. So you would just drive around for a couple hours.
Called it cruising.
Yeah,
kids don't even understand that.
Yeah, no, they don't drive anymore. Nobody drives anywhere. Nobody even has their license anymore. That's the other.
So for the first time the other night, I met up with my son because we were going to go see Mandalorian and Grogu.
Okay.
And it was the first time since he's gotten his car, his license, I made him drive me around.
Oh, good.
And I was explaining to him about, hey, you've got your car. You should be, drive here and go there. And you can do, and he's looking at me like, why would I do that? I was like, because that's what you do. We called it cruising back in the days. And he just could not understand the idea of driving without purpose.
Right.
I was like, maybe you'll figure it out, but it does happen. It used to be a fun thing.
Yeah, pull up to a stoplight, see if there's a chick in the car next to you,
Yeah.
Give her a little wave, and then see what's going on. No, nobody waves anymore?
Well, no. And that's not only my stepson, my son, but talking to some of my stepsons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a whole different world now.
All right.
They just look at me going, what, you would do that? And I'm like, yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm not pulling up and waving.
Well, no, but I tried to explain. It was a different world. It was a different world. You could talk to people, and it was okay. No one got offended, and yeah.
Very strange. Very sad.
Yes. Yeah, it's sad.
Around. By the way, one more thing before we get out of here. You're talking about concerts and stuff. Saw Ted Arndt.
Yes.
Our former music director at WGMU that we're both good friends with. I saw him on Saturday, him and his wife and son.
Mm-hmm.
Emmett Swimming playing at the Reston Town Center to kick off their summer concert schedule. It was basically a reunion.
Okay.
I
imagine it would be.
Yeah, I saw Ted. I saw Matt Young. Matt Young of the Broadside, the school newspaper, which is now called the Fourth Estate. Now I see our buddy Chris Jolly all the time, but he was out there. And much like most of the time when we went to see Emmett in college, he was inebriated. So there was that. And then, I had people that were like, hey, what's going on? And you're like, yeah, what's up? Good. I don't remember them. I don't. I felt bad because there were a couple people that were just like, hey, man. I'm like, yeah, man, I haven't seen you in forever. And I'm like, I turn back around and Carrie, my fiance, would be like, who is that? And I'm like, I have no idea. It's like, I know him. Like, they're a lot.
Reintroduce yourself, Bill.
Well, they were walking, but we're in the crowd, like, because they had, like the standing room up by the stage, and then of course all the old people had to sit in their chairs, their little fold out, bag chairs, further back. And I was like, I'm not going to sit. I want to stand. I want to be able to see stuff. And so, people are just kind of wandering through that little, what would have been a mosh pit section back 35 years ago when we were all young. Now I laugh because there are a couple of songs, for those of you who don't know Emmett swimming, they have a couple of songs where everybody jumps, right? Up and down. No, there's not a lot of jumping. There's a lot of like bobbing up. But maybe phone book hops. Maybe it wasn't like back in the day. I was like, yeah, people are worried about tearing an Achilles.
So that shoulder injuries, falling, you name it. Was this kind of like an unofficial Mason Day thing? With so many Mason alumni and Emmett swimming?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of people because again, Emmett was pretty big up and down the East Coast in the college scene back in the 90s. I mean, they started with us. I mean, they were a Mason band. In fact, I think WGMU may have been, I don't know how much of a radio station you would call it, but we may have been the first people to play them.
We broke them.
I mean, I'm not going to say that, but I can remember them coming by and talking to Ted about CMJ and if they had broken into the CMJ.
We played a lot in the playlist.
So, yeah, I mean, and 3 of the 4 guys are the still originals. So, I mean, Todd Watts is still singing. Eric is still on guitar. Tamer's still doing the drums. And then I don't know if you remember the band Smart Bomb. The guy who plays bass with Emmett now was the lead singer from Smart Bomb. You would know because they used to play with Emmett all the time. So you'd probably recognize them. But anyway, yes, it was cool. So I'm not going to say it was all Mason people. Because, I mean, again, they had a huge following.
Oh, yeah, I know.
There were people that, were at WVU or Maryland or wherever, JMU or, came to watch or whatever. But, I mean, there were, again, a lot of people where I was like, and I know you. But
I'll say hi.
I'll wave, but I have no idea. And I felt really bad because, like, I recognized one dude standing next to me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know that dude." Kind of like from Dazed and Confused, when the guy sitting there with McConaughey. I know you. We had geometry together. I felt like I was like, I know that guy. And then this girl comes walking through. I mean, woman. Comes walking through. She's like, Roland. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And so she keeps walking by, and Carrie's like, who's that? And I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. And then she stopped, and I'm like, oh, shit, did she hear me say that? And then it was Scott, the guy next to me. It was his wife. I just didn't recognize her. And I was like, oh, that's who that is. Okay. So that's what I was like, oh, that's Scott's wife. I know who that is. So yeah. And then there's a lot of after the show, there's a lot of people asking about the basketball team for this year. So that was fun. But yeah, it was a good time. I mean, they're gonna play down at the 9:30 Club the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. That's what they said. That's their next show. So, I mean, they're not
looking that far out.
Well, they're not touring at all. So I mean, they're just like, yeah, this is the next time we're gonna do it. So I'm sure if I'm in town, I got nothing going on, I'll go down to the 9:30 Club to see him. I did that a couple of years ago too, when they played like a New Year's show or something. It was around Christmas. It was Christmas then. It wasn't Thanksgiving, I don't think. But
get the backstage pass.
Yeah, right. Again, we have no control over being able to, hey, we'll put the new record on for you, and if you'll let us into this. So yeah, not gonna happen. But yeah, so it was good. I got to see Ted. And again, I met his wife before, like games. His son, I think, coincidence that the son's name is Emmett. I don't think he's named after the band. That would be weird. But it is Ted, so who knows? But
was he still wearing black shoes and white socks?
Ooh, I didn't check out the shoes. No, I don't know. I didn't.
That was a style feature for him. People.
Yeah, well, I mean, it made sense in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no, we were just talking, catching up at things are good, blah blah blah, whatever. And then I was telling him that I just literally in the past week or so had been telling Carrie about some WGMU stories. And I said, it was great because no one really understood that your college radio station wasn't that impressive. Like it wasn't, oh yeah, we were for the college station. People were, oh, okay.
Oh, neat.
And I was telling this story about my college girlfriend at the time. She had grown up in Montreal, was a big Celine Dion fan. And this was before Celine was Celine. Like, this wasn't like people didn't know who the hell Celine Dion was, really. And
She was a burner.
I remember going to Ted and being like, I don't know if you can do anything, but my girlfriend loves this. She's going to be, I think she was at DAR.
Constitution.
I think she was at DAR maybe. And he was like, why do you want those tickets? And I'm like, well, again, my girlfriend knows who she is. I have no idea. I couldn't pick her out of a lineup. And he's like, all right, let me make a call. Got me the tickets. So I'm a big hero, of course, because we had like fourth row to Celine Dion. And I was telling the story because it was funny because as we're sitting there and we're listening to like people around, and you can tell the people sitting behind us are like from the record label.
Oh.
Just the way they were talking. Like just little things that they were dropping in, like I have good stage presence. And I think this she's got a couple other stops on this tour, and we're gonna try to do like they were talking about. We're gonna try to do this. And I'm like, these are record company people. So I remember turning to my college girlfriend and going, by the way, we're in front of her label people. We have better seats than the people that are managing her. That's the kind of things I can do. It didn't help, obviously, but yeah, we had a great time. It's fun.
Well, did Carrie go, well, why haven't you got me tickets to someone?
No. I mean, we went to Emmett. We went to, I forget which other, there was another show that we went to. I can't remember now. It was like Yacht Rock. I think it was I think it was Yachtly Crew. That was the name of them. They were playing out in Leesburg. They were fun. It's just it's just like going to see like the leg warmers who do all the 80s stuff down here at the State Theater all the time. Yachtly Crew was a blast. They were really good. But yeah, we talked about and we looked at, do you know how much, we're getting off on a tangent here. Do you know how much the Spin Doctors, was it Spin Doctors, Blues Traveler, and who's the third one with them? Spin Doctor. Oh, Gin Blossoms.
Okay. I knew it was a flower.
Yeah. Gin Blossoms, along with Blues Traveler, I think is the headliner. They're going to be at Wolf Trap.
Okay.
Lawn seats.
Oh, here we go.
Are over $100.
Jeez.
And I went, I love you. And we're going to get married. I'm not dropping over $100 to go see the Gin Blossoms Blues Travel. I'm not to sit on, because I was like, lawn seats are probably like $50. I'll do that.
You would hope.
And they're like 129 or something. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I was like, how well? I said, if we're going to spend that much, what's it in the pavilion? They were like $300.
What?
And then you were up in the very, very front, like 800, 900. And I was like, wait, is that resale? She goes, no, I'm on Ticketmaster. And I was like, or no, she's like, I'm on the Wolf Trap site. I'm like, well, you know what? We're going to wait till the day before. And then when they haven't sold any of those tickets, because who's paying $900 to see Blues Traveler?
That was my question. I mean, these weren't, whatever, the top tier acts from that time frame.
No.
So you're telling me $300 to see them?
Yeah.
What in the world? And who is paying that?
I don't know. Don't know.
Well, I mean, if there's a lot of seats unsold, we have that answer.
Yeah. You know what I told her? I said, for that money, we'll drive to Maine and see them in Maine because they're going to be up there.
Probably cheaper.
I know. That's what I said. If we can get $40 lawn tickets, we'll just drive to Maine. We'll make a vacation out of it. We'll go see the aunt and uncle. We'll stop by, see your place. I was like, well, I said, we'll go up and see the show. And then on the way back, maybe go to Fenway. I don't know. But I'm not paying $130 some to go see him at Wolf Trap.
Jeez.
No chance. No chance.
No.
So, yeah, we'll see if, what are they calling it now when people are canceling the concerts? The blue flu?
Yes.
Have you heard that?
Yeah, where they've had to cancel shows because they're not selling because
all the seats are still blue.
You overestimated your value and attraction to people.
Yeah. So there's definitely been some folks that have canceled tours because of the blue flu, which means they ain't selling tickets. I don't know if these guys will be one of them or not, but I was like, I'm sorry. Spin Doctors, Gin Blossoms, Blues Traveler, not dropping $130, $140.
I'm half surprised because from my old days of dealing when I was in radio, we dealt with Wolf Trap. They were very smart about who they picked, what would sell. I mean, it was well-managed venue. So somewhere something said to them, this makes sense, but that price point just kind of makes me go, what?
I know the Beach Boys are going to be there this summer as well, or what the remaining members of the Beach Boys.
Is there any?
What's that?
I'm serious. Is there any?
I think there's still a couple of guys that are still around.
Okay.
I think so. I don't know if John Stamos is still touring with them as a member of the Beach Boys, but yeah, isn't was it Brian Love? Wasn't that one of
Brian
them?
Wilson?
Brian Wilson. No, there are two Brians.
Oh, that's right.
Mike Love. It was Mike Love.
Mike Love.
Yeah, I think a couple of those guys are still around. I think.
Okay.
I don't think they're like Menudo and they're just like touring to be touring.
Or who is it we talked about? The Drifters or the Platters? Where there's
the Drifters, the Platters, all those guys. I mean, the Commodores are down to one. Lionel Richie's still around, but I think there's only one other remaining.
Commodore.
One other Commodore still there. So yeah,
I'm an OC, original Commodore.
That's right. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So anyway, all right. Any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up on the great legendary career of Chuck Barris, the Newlywed Game, Bob Eubanks, 50 years, Lee High School, graduation, Austin, Texas, and the fantastic Dazed and Confused. You got anything for me?
I'm still stuck with In the Ass, Bob.
In the ass, Bob, indeed. And for Chuck, this is me saying bye.
This concludes this episode of Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhite. Gen X Men is now off the air.